Too, that's really stupid. Definitely eat stuff before like a good meal, lots of carbs, um, drink lots of water, and just be prepared, like mentally psych yourself out. Because if you don't, and you think, it's just a tattoo, I'll be okay. Sometimes if you don't think it's gonna hurt that bad, it ends up hurting really bad. And sometimes if you think it's gonna hurt really bad, it ends up not hurting that bad. It's just kind of like a psychological thing. Um, Also, if you have nerve problems or it's just the tattoo's just getting really unbearable, some shops do carry a topical anesthetic, and that's usually when once the skin is broken, it'll work. But it is really expensive, so a lot of times if they do have it, and this sucks, but it is really expensive. The bottles are like this big, and they're like $50. So it's not something we usually give out. And tattoos, it's kind of a tradition that tattoos are supposed to hurt a little, so you have to get through that if you really want one. But if you're getting something like a back piece or something, and you've been sitting for like 4 hours, and you got 2 more hours to go, or you're sitting for three, and and it's just, you've been doing pretty good, but you're just not having it anymore, and you're on that last part of your adrenaline's left, or your adrenaline's gone, and you're just exhausted. You might be able to get some of that if they have it. Some shops don't carry that. Some shops do. Mine does. I love Blue Gel. It's my best friend. I'm actually going to buy some. They sell it on Amazon. It's called Blue Gel, and it's just a little bottle like this big. And that really works. After you get line work done and some shading, you can put that on and have a break and let that sit for, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes or something, and that really, really, really works. So if you want to invest in that too before you get your bigger tattoo, I would suggest that. That way you don't have to ask the tattoo artist to to take from their own stuff, or if they don't have it, at least you have it, and maybe they'll be okay with that. Um, it really does help. It doesn't feel like you're getting anything done. Um, what else? I really don't recommend getting your boyfriend or your girlfriend's name tattooed. That is such bad luck. Ring tattoos are the most commonly removed tattoos. I don't recommend those, especially if you really are in love with somebody and your heart gets broken and you get divorced, and then you have to have a fucking ring tattooed on you and you think of them. So I wouldn't recommend those, but if you are getting a tattoo for your significant other, maybe get something that represents that person. Like if you're, I don't know, if your guys' first date was on a hike or something, get tattoos of some mountains or something, something cool, and then that way it can mean something to you, but it won't actually have their name or stuff like that. And then if you do break up, you'll just have a kick-ass tattoo of mountains or something. Also for memorial tattoos, suggestions instead of crosses and the date of their death and birth and praying hands and stuff. Get something that represents the person. I mean, it's kind of cliche for both of those things to um, just get all that regular stuff. Um, and then for the parents that want to get the tattoos of their kids' drawings, bad idea. I know your kid drew it, but the artist didn't draw it, and I know you love your kid so much, but it's just going to look, to most people, if they don't know you and they don't know what the tattoo is, it's going to look like a really shitty tattoo. Compromise with the artist, say, this is what my kid drew, let's make it a kick-ass tattoo, but still keep the essence of what my kid drew. Yeah, I would never, I mean, maybe you could get later on when your kid's older, or if your kid passed away and that's something you want to do, maybe a portrait. I mean, portraits are awesome if you find a good portrait artist. If you find something that represents the kid instead of the drawing, or maybe it's really sweet when you get when father, daughter, son, mother, kids get their parents' handwriting tattooed that says I love you, or their handwriting. I think that's super sweet. I don't care how crappy the handwriting is when it's somebody's actual handwriting and you get that. I think that's really cute. But if you get a tattoo of a drawing that a kid did, it's just, to everybody else, it's going to look like a really shitty home job tattoo or something. It's going to look bad. Don't do that. Please don't do it. And please, if you don't have any tattoos and you're a young kid, don't get your neck tattooed. Don't get your finger knuckles tattooed. Don't get your hands tattooed. Because even though it's becoming more common, it's really hard to get a job with those tattoos. It's really hard. It's difficult, especially if you don't go to college, you don't have a degree. Just by having one degree, you can go so much further than the average bear. I mean, yeah, definitely. And especially if you don't have any other tattoos. Like, I don't think it's fair to have your hands tattooed and no tattoos here and just wear long sleeves like you have a bunch of tattoos. Usually we try to stray away from neck tattoos, like up here and on the sides. We'll do the back of the neck because that's easy to hide. But also we kind of feel like people should earn the hand and finger and neck tattoos if they're heavily tattooed or have a lot of tattoos already. Then it might be okay, but if you don't have any tattoos and you want something right here or here, it's not a good idea. It's really not. This lady called me the other day and asked if she could bring her 17 or 16-year-old son in to get a tattoo. If she was there, would it be okay? And it just baffles me. It surprises me so much that people don't know the law. And this goes for most of the U.S. Like, it's, I think, actually all, but I'm not totally sure in that there might be a couple states that allow it. I don't think there is, but there might be. I haven't done my research, but most of what I know is that it's completely illegal to get tattooed under the age of 18. I told her that, and I told her, I mean, I've been working here for a while, and I said, even when you're 18, I see some choices that are just not good, and I just know that they're going to regret them. And it's also kind of cool to start collecting at such a young age, because then you see where you've changed and where you've grown. But at the same time, a lot of people regret their tattoos when they were 18, when they got them. And a lot of times when you're 18, you don't want to spend a lot of money, you don't want to go to a good shop, you just kind of want to get it done and just be cool and, rush it or rush into something. Like when you're young, when you're a virgin, you want to rush into having sex. So at least most of the people I knew, and that wasn't a good idea. Some girls got pregnant, some people got their hearts broken, STDs. I mean, it's just not a good idea to rush into things, especially tattoos. That can be so permanent. My tastes have changed. If I gotten a tattoo when I was 14 or 15, probably wouldn't have been a good idea. Probably would have got a cover-up or something. Also, cover-ups. Always go into shops and show them things you want to get covered up. See if it's doable. Look at the cover-ups they've done. Look at their portfolio. Because sometimes they are very doable, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're too dark, and you need to get laser just a couple sessions to lighten it up and open up your options. Don't settle for something, if they're like, oh, let's cover that with a big dark tree or something really black. You don't have to settle for that. You can just get a couple sessions of laser. Maybe you need 4 sessions. That's going to suck. But that'll open up your options so much more to get some laser done and have that lightened, because then you have so many different choices of things to cover it up with, especially if you have a really good artist that's been tattooing for a long time and is artistically, capable of looking at things and figuring out what they can warp this into or cover it with. If you just have some guy or girl that just doesn't put any effort in, or just, I wouldn't settle. I would definitely look at your options and definitely consider laser. A lot of people just want to get something recovered or covered because they're sick of it. But sometimes it's better to take more time and save more money to really fix that shit you got on your arm or your chest or whatever. Because, you can polish a turd, but if you have something lightened, you might be able to get away with it and make something really beautiful out of what you got. So that's my advice, guys. I would just say really think about it. I guess I could show you my tattoos. The first one I got when I was 18, and it's something that I kind of am okay with now. It's a lot better than it was. It's roses. Needs some touch-ups, like right here, the ink fell out. It really does need a lot of touching up. Yeah, it wasn't exactly the kind of roses I wanted. I did want new school kind of, or traditional roses, either or, but she put, instead of the purple in there, I wanted the edges kind of yellowed and stuff with like some frill, and she kind of just made each petal in here yellow, and the yellow really didn't take well with my skin tone. Also with colors, some colors won't go into some certain people's skin, or they'll reject out, especially if you're allergic to them. You can be allergic to colors, like blue is a really common one, and red. Good thing I'm not allergic to red. So Carlos, my coworker, put purples in it, but it really does need a touch up again. I mean, they kind of look gray now, so. But that's my first one. I'm going to add to it. I have a lot of plans for this arm here. And then my second one I just got a little while ago. It's not done either. It's going to be a shoulder thing. Is my Nautilus. It's a rainbow kind of cool Nautilus that Danielle did. I think it needs a little bit of touching up too, and some more gray blacks in there to give it some more depth and shading and stuff. I'm really excited about it. I'm just gonna let her do her thing. She wants to put mandalas and coral and flowers and shit in it. It's gonna be awesome. So those are my 2 tattoos. I don't have any more yet. I have one scheduled in December for here, and then after that I'm going to get a calla lily in here, so that's going to be exciting. But yeah, definitely think about your options and really give it thought. A lot of people don't have tattoos, and a lot of people have them, and a lot of people have tattoos they really regret. So if you've ever seen the show Tattoo Nightmares, or any of those tattoo shows, it does teach you a little. A lot of the competition shows are full of shit, though. 5 hours seems like a long time, but it's really not that long. You can't rush art, and it's bad to even think of rushing something like that, or rushing through it and not giving your client a break. Breaks are needed for both of the people, the artist and the client. Water, bathroom breaks, food breaks, just to make everyone comfortable and not pass out or throw up, or, where you'll have to call an EMT. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So, yeah, usually sleeves, you can't get an estimate on a sleeve. You can kind of get like an hourly rate or a guesstimation on your first session. I think it's silly when people ask how much a back piece is or a sleeve. It's like, it depends on what's going into it. It depends on how detailed it is and how many sessions and all this stuff. You could be looking at 4-hour sessions, like 2 4-hour sessions, or 3 4-hour sessions. It just depends on how experienced the artist is, how fast they tattoo, what you're tattooing. If you're tattooing some portraits, that's going to take a lot longer. You can't rush that, and if you're mad at the price, think about what this person's doing. They have to make a face exactly the same, and you can't bring in a shit picture, because, you gotta have a good picture for portraits. It's ridiculous when people bring in a picture and the person's face is that big. Unless you're a magician, then that's just crazy to ask somebody to do that. You gotta have a good, high-quality, high-definition photo of someone if you want a portrait, and make sure, really look at the portfolios for that kind of thing, because you don't want a fucked up portrait. If you can't tell who it is, it can be really upsetting. So, anyways, that's my video on the tattoos. I hope you guys have a great day. I am going to probably take a shower, I think, and then do housework and homework. So, bye, adios, au revoir. I suck at French and Spanish. Bye.